We're doing something very significant right now because Bitcoin has managed to break up above $100,000 for the first time in about 18 days. Actually, a little bit more since the last time that we broke out. It's been 23 days, 3 weeks. And this one, I think, is very, very significant because we've now been ranging sideways for quite some time, right? We entered this price range about 47 days ago. So we're closing in on, I mean, this is a month and a half now. And we're getting another breakout, which I think is absolutely fantastic because what it means is that we're now going to have all of this stuff that we dealt with over the last 46 days. We're going to have all of this as potential support, which is absolutely fantastic because our previous main zone of support was actually down here at $92,000. So the fact that we're now seeing our support level climbing up by literally basically $9,000, I think is a very, very big deal because it tells you that now basically a worst case scenario has actually gotten a lot better, and that is definitely, I think, very, very exciting for this market here. And so if we take a look at what this is telling us, I mean, you know, we got our support hits, we got our rejection hits, we're now kind of coming back up. You know, we're already in a pre-existing, incredibly strong, healthy uptrend. You know, to me, when you've got these kind of factors present and then you actually manage to break out in the direction of your trend anyway, I'm going to be very, very biased and say that, you know, this looks like pretty legitimate price action, which is going to be sticking around, which is actually going to be carrying the market forward in that direction. I do want to point out that over this last month and a half, a lot of people were losing their minds, right? And these ranges are designed to do that, right? These ranges are here for you during that 46-day period to lose your mind and think that actually maybe Bitcoin is not very bullish. And then you sell it into the hands of people who have a little bit more patience than you. It's only a matter of 46 days, right? It's not that long. You know, and then they get to enjoy the gains that you would basically be signing yourself off from, right? So we've seen this happen a million times. We know exactly how this works, but, you know, those of you that are a little bit more new to the channel, maybe you haven't been smashing up that like and subscribe button, you know, you might not know that. So that's where we are. Bitcoin's dominance is coming up again in line with Bitcoin rising. No surprises here. It's actually been range bound as well for Bitcoin's dominance. Really, nothing's been happening. We reached the top that I was predicting for years, and we've come back down to this zone of support that I was also predicting for us. Right now, we're in the middle. I still think we're going to be going higher. Let me bring it back to Bitcoin and where this thing could go, though, before I break down more of what's already happened. Obviously, we've got the high up here at $108,000, and that's our all-time high. It should be very easy to get up there. We're already at 102 and climbing as we speak. You know, there's really not that much to get up there. It's now going to be about a 6% move, but there's also no resistance. And if we zoom in onto the hourly, we can see this with a little bit of a clearer view. We do have, you know, I would say perhaps very light resistance kind of right here that we're dealing with right now, but I mean, as soon as we get above this, I think as soon as we get above, like, basically, you know, 100, as soon as we get to 103, there is really nothing stopping Bitcoin from really shooting up quite high. That's probably going to end up dragging Ethereum up with it and some others like Solana. However, we're probably going to continue to see them perform worse than Bitcoin. They're probably going to continue to lose against Bitcoin here. So we're going to be watching that to see how that continues to evolve here. But I think the fact that we've managed to make it up this high, it, you know, tells me that, you know, we're pretty much poised to break it. And if we break 100, if we get to 108, you know, I don't think that it's going to be resistance, right? Like, I don't think we're going to do something a little bit like this and come back down. I think, you know, maybe worst case we do this, maybe this, but, you know, for the most part, I'd expect both of these situations to take us far above $110,000, right? And the good news is that now that we've actually kind of consolidated for 46 days, we can start talking about, you know, where this thing might go if it sets a new all-time high. And one of the things that we can do quite easily is just kind of measure what our previous leg looked like, right? And let me just find a chart where I don't have so many drawings like this one right here. You know, and our previous leg really kicked off here at kind of $67,000, and it took Bitcoin up by 60%. The main, you know, the first move of this leg pretty much was about 7 days, and it took Bitcoin up by 34%. You know, and to put it in perspective, I mean, you know, if we're kind of measuring something similar to that right now, you know, I mean, 30% puts Bitcoin at 118. You know, 40% is going to put Bitcoin at 127. Anything in between those two price figures to me is totally realistic, very, very realistic for a next move. And I think that it's now been enabled by the fact that, you know, we've had this consolidation, right? Like, if we didn't have 46 days of consolidation, I would still be very bullish, but I would be less confident about it because, you know, maybe we're exhausted, whatever. But we're not exhausted. It's clear we've consolidated and we're kind of ready for the next leg. And obviously, those of you that are paying attention, that are subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're going to be very, very intimately familiar with, just the broad kind of market patterns that we've seen during this market cycle. They've been very obvious and very repetitive. I can draw all of them just using one tool, which I'm going to do for you right now. Here's one parallel channel. Here's another parallel channel right there. Here's another parallel channel, just slightly less of a parallel channel. And then here's another parallel channel right here. That we are kind of dealing with right now, right? So we've seen this kind of all throughout this market cycle. It's all just parallel channels. There's really not much else going on during this market cycle. Could this one be different and it's not going to have the same kind of outcome as all of the other previous parallel channels? Could this one be different? Yes. Will it be different? I don't think so, right? I mean, it's a probability question at the end of the day. Those of you that are interested in being 100% correct and getting everything right, you should probably go back to your corporate job, because that's not what trading looks like. Trading, you're going to be taking your measured, calculated risks. You're going to be lining up all of those ducks in a row, or whatever the phrase is, and then you're still going to get it wrong because it's just probability, right? And so you're really going to be quite detached from each individual outcome and only look at things from quite far back. And a lot of people can't do this. A lot of people who are already very experienced with money, it comes natural to them, and a lot of people who don't have money, they just can't fucking figure it out. And unfortunately, there's no easy way. It is exactly as hard as you think it is, and that's why trading makes a lot of money for people who can pull it off. So those of you that are interested in some really, really cool bonuses, I do want to highlight some really cool things that we've got for you here in the description. Check this out right here. We've got Bybit with huge bonuses. This one's now out of date, but they've still got huge bonuses when you start trading using my link in the description. And obviously Blowfin's going to be a phenomenal alternative to Bybit, which is giving you over $100,000 actually in bonuses right now on Blowfin. So really cool stuff. Check them both out if you're interested in kind of finding a place to trade. They're both linked on screen right here for you. And of course, only check them out if you're not in a restricted region. But if we bring it back to the chart here and talk a little bit about, kind of what this is looking like, I think, again, like I said, the fact that we've consolidated looks great. It's very similar to every bit of consolidation that we've had previously. We've had a lot of fake outs, obviously, during this market cycle. So, there's still going to be the risk that this is a fake out. Like I said, you've kind of got this zone of resistance right here that we're dealing with. And, anything kind of below breaking this range, is going to be fake out territory. And it's only a couple percentage points above our range top anyway. But again, I think, 103 and up, we're pretty much good to get substantially higher. If we start taking a look at traditional finance, which actually I should have been doing first, the S&P 500 has been broadly sideways, basically waiting for that Trump inauguration. This is incredibly bullish to me. I don't see how this is kind of looking like a reversal right now. And I think, this is probably going to continue to... I think we're going to break the all-time high before the Trump inauguration. Bear in mind, that's still exactly 2 weeks away at the time of recording, I think. I think it's on January 20th. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe 21st, I don't know. But it's basically around there. And I think that's enough time for this thing to pop. Gold has been holding very steady in the mid to high 2000s. And the dollar has, broadly continued to move up in quite a spectacular way. I mean, this is not something that I expected. In hindsight, it was actually pretty obvious because it's just a measure of the dollar against other currencies. And it's quite obvious that, if Trump is president, the US is probably going to be performing better than, the EU, by comparison, for example. And Japan's been in the gutter for a while, right? So there's a lot of, there's a lot of currencies that get compared to the dollar, and I think in hindsight, it was actually pretty obvious that the dollar would be strong against those currencies with this new presidency. But the really good news is that it hasn't negatively affected our markets, right? Like, we've known for a long time that when the dollar goes up, it really hurts speculative markets. On this occasion, everything's going up. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but I think it's fine. I'm not worried about sustainability, and we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how this continues to go right here. Now, if we do end up losing this level, then, you know, like I said, support's going to be down here at about 99,100. I wouldn't expect it to be, you know, super strong support because, you know, we've, I don't know, we're not that high above it. You know, it still could be a fake out, right? So fake outs can, you know, obviously take us significantly lower. You know, but it is still support, and I think we will still be met with some support over there. It's also now been, by the way, an entire 10 minutes since the video started, and I haven't shown you one single indicator yet. And you have a completely thorough 100% clear understanding of the market already. So smash up the likes for that. Make sure you subscribe for that if that kind of thing excites you. The reason I love that shit is because it proves that you have a very, very solid, realistic, grounded understanding of the market without using a crutch, right? Without using something that you need in order to, I don't know, think clearly or to see the market. You can do it with a naked chart. You can do it with nothing, which means that you have a very solid understanding, a very solid fundamental understanding of this market. And that's the only place to be, in my opinion. So huge shout out to those of you that have been able to keep up to this point, which is hopefully all of you or most of you. You know, now I do want to start talking to you about some indicators because I do like using them as supplements. And right here, if we take a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we've got a massive 4-hour Ichimoku cloud that we just blasted through, which is really, really bullish. By the way, as we are recording this, we've broken, you know, the fake out kind of level here, so that's very interesting. On the daily time frame here, we've got a ton of support, but we have not seen it. And so if Bitcoin does end up coming back down, we're probably coming back down to the bottom of this range, and you're going to see the biggest zone of support in the daily that we've had in quite some time. The last time that we were really able to use this was actually May of 2024. And, you know, it does typically work, you know, on its first test. You know, I wouldn't expect it to just kind of fail on its first test. So basically, no matter what happens, I don't think we're going back below 80K really, you know, anytime in Q1. You know, and actually I think we've got a really good platform to continue going up. If we look at some of those momentum indicators, the daily is really looking very, very good right now. We've had a lot of time to reset this thing, and the daily is very, very happy. We've got a very strong bounce off here. And then on the 4-hour time frame, we're looking good. It probably, you know, is due for a pullback on these shorter time frames, so we're gonna have to see how that goes. But, you know, I mean, that's just, you know, lagging indicators and, you know, basic, you know, normal technical analysis theory. But, you know, I mean, the truth is, you know, as you get above 100K, right? I mean, that's, you know, really the first time still that's happened. And as you get, you know, above some of your really significant resistance levels, and you're coming out of a consolidation period, you know, I'm not going to really call for the market to retrace right now. You know, I don't think that that's reasonable or realistic. You know, I think that right now the market has legs. It's still in a bull trend. I mean, you know, I'm just kind of going with what it's telling me. It looks pretty obvious to me from what I'm seeing here. Let's take a quick look through some of our altcoins. We're seeing a nice big bounce here from Solana coming off a fucking spectacular price level, ladies and gents. Absolutely beautiful. We were predicting this bounce, and that's exactly what happened here, so that's beautiful. Against Bitcoin, it's still struggling a little bit, and I think that's going to continue. XRP has been sideways for so long. I've never seen this in my life. I don't... Has this ever... This has literally, like, pretty much never happened. Or maybe it has, but, you know, very, very, very seldom, like extremely rare for this to be happening right now. Bear with me, guys. I got my PS5 right here. It's just acting up right now. But, you know, that's XRP right here. XRP against Bitcoin, still in the exact same place. We got WIF right here, basically at all-time lows. Pepe holding strong. Really not a whole lot to be saying about a bunch of these right now. You know, these coins are just kind of doing, you know, what everything is doing, which is to say nothing. ARB has managed to move up by quite a bit, which is nice from its lows because, I mean, goddamn, it's actually, I don't think it's such a shit coin. You know, and then across the rest of the board, really nothing that interesting. We got DOT at some macro resistance, but whatever. I'm not really worried about that kind of thing right now, especially with what Bitcoin's doing. Got a Link again at, you know, some macro resistance, but same deal here. Nothing particularly special. TRX got wiped out from these highs. I took a lot of profits, but it's back down. You know, I mean, standard for TRX, right? It does this. I would expect it to kind of grind its way back up. I don't know when that's going to happen, but or if, of course, but, you know, I mean, it looks pretty likely to me. I'm still in my TRX position, you know the deal. But yeah, Bitcoin, you know, looking good. Nothing too concerning here. I think we smashed that all-time high. I think we get substantially higher, and I think we got a ton of support in this range now. You know, whether Bitcoin gets up here and comes back down, or it just gets here and starts coming back down. There's a lot of support here. There's an Ichimoku cloud right here. I mean, what do you want, man? You got everything you need. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. You know what to do if you have. Smash up those likes, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one.